Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Psycheal. This is take 2 of this video because the first time I recorded the whole thing, I realized my fan was making a really annoying noise in the background. So if I start sweating, you know why. Don't judge me. Anyways, today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite things, and that is sleep. But to be specific, lucid dreaming. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you already know what lucid dreaming is. When you become conscious during your sleep. It's a fun topic that is pretty popular in the spiritual world. I also even had it covered in my psychology class in college, which was really cool. And so that's why I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the uses of it and mostly some techniques of how you can begin to lucid dream on your own. I've always thought lucid dreaming is something you just do for fun. But what I actually did learn in my psychology of consciousness class is that you can actually practice real life things in your dreams. And what do I mean by that? Let's say you have a speech coming up and you're very nervous. You can actually create a dream scenario where you rehearse that speech and make yourself more ready. You feel like you've done it before. Not only that, which this I think is really mind-blowing, is you can actually practice physical activity and sports. Let's say you play baseball and you have a baseball tournament coming up. You can practice yourself playing baseball, and not only is this rehearsing it mentally, there are actually studies that show that just dreaming or imagining about a motor movement will stimulate the area in that brain connected to that motor muscle. So you could potentially even strengthen or maintain your muscle or form by just imagining it. Obviously, this isn't going to be the same as actually going out and doing that thing. You can't just sit at home all day and pretend you're lifting weights. That's not going to get you swole, but it is better than nothing, which is really cool because that just shows the power of our mind. So let's get to what I'm sure everyone is here for, and that is the techniques to get to a state of lucid dreaming. So I'm going to start with the most important thing, and that is to keep a log of your dreams. I keep my little dream log right by my bed, so it's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning. Don't look at your phone, don't go get up and do anything that is going to get you out of that state because you probably will forget the dream in just a few minutes. So I like to be very thorough on my dreams. You don't have to go into this much depth, but I really like doing that because sometimes I'll look back at a point in time and it can actually teach me something that was going on in my subconscious at that time that I wasn't aware of, or I look back at it later and it makes sense why I was having bad dreams. So this is useful for understanding what your dreams are trying to tell you. But going back to lucid dreaming, you can start to see a pattern in your dreams. Again, maybe it's based on your mood for that day, something you're going through, but it could also be something that is coming up regularly. Maybe you often have dreams that you're at school. So this goes into the next tip, and that is to do reality checking. Maybe you notice that a lot of your dreams are at work or school or something. So what you want to do is when you're really in that place is do some checks. Maybe you're going to pinch yourself and ask yourself, am I dreaming right now or am I awake? And do it multiple times throughout the day, whenever you remember to. It also doesn't have to be a physical sensation. For me, I have this hand tattoo. So I'll look down and say, here's my tattoo. Am I awake or dreaming? Eventually, you do this so often that you habituate it into your mind. And when you go to sleep and you're in that same environment, you might know to do a reality check. And sometimes, as we know, the mind plays tricks on us. So maybe the pinching sensation does feel like a pinch. Maybe whatever physical check you have is still there and looks the same. But the fact that you even ask yourself, am I awake or dreaming, is going to make you question the state of your dream, and you probably will realize that it is a dream state, even if that sensation or things still look the same. Checking is going to take some time to be effective because it takes a long time for a habit to form in the brain. So this next one is going to be a quick start into lucid dreaming, potentially. But it is something I don't recommend doing often because it can actually cause a lot of harmful effects in the long run because it is sleep deprivation. So obviously, me loving sleep, I think our circadian rhythm is very important. Sleep deprivation is cumulative, so doing it for prolonged periods is going to have really bad health effects. But if this is only once in a while, it's okay. So with this, there's two ways you can go about it. One is maybe there is a night that you aren't able to get enough sleep. Maybe you were up really late until like 2 a.m. and you had to wake up at like 5:30 for something. You only got 3.5 hours of sleep. So the next day, try to stay awake as long as possible until you're just really, really exhausted. When you're this tired, I'm sure you've probably experienced this, but you go straight into that deep REM sleep. So you can use this to your advantage. Because you're going to go straight into REM sleep, as you're laying down, try to stay a little bit conscious, almost like a meditative state where your brain's not hyperactive, you're not moving, but you are trying to focus on an image. Maybe you can picture yourself flying, or you can think of a person and just try to meditate on that one image and let yourself fall asleep and go into that deep state of sleeping and try to retain that image, and maybe you will hold on to it into the dream and then be able to explore with it. So yeah, that's one I just recommend doing if you already had to be sleep deprived. You shouldn't force yourself to do it because that's just miserable. This other way of sleep deprivation is a little more easy to just do whenever, and that is to wake yourself up in the middle of the night. Ideally, you want to do it between 3 to 5 hours after you fall asleep because that's usually when you enter REM state. And so have your alarm go off at that time. Hopefully, you will wake yourself up in the middle of the dream or right at the end of a dream. And you want to kind of like sit up, collect yourself. You don't want to look at a phone screen or get up and do stuff because that'll bring you into full alertness, awake state, and we don't want that. So just sit up a little. And if you can remember your dream before, great. Keep thinking about that dream, lay back down, and try to continue the dream, but with control. If you don't remember what you're dreaming about, that's fine, and do what I mentioned for the other technique, which is to imagine a scenario. With those techniques of sleep deprivation or imagining things, you are more likely to be able to create your whole dream world, which is really cool. With the reality checking, you're more likely to just become conscious in a dream. And that's a type of lucid dreaming that I experience often because I do more of the reality checking, is that I become aware during a dream. And then I can decide, oh, I'm going to walk this way, or I'm going to pick this thing up. But I personally have never gone to the state where I can create my whole dream. So if you're not able to do that right away, don't be hard on yourself. That's a really hard thing to achieve. And there is no standard time of how long it takes for someone to be able to achieve these certain levels of lucid dreaming. For some people, just a few days of doing these techniques will take them into their first lucid dream. For some people, it can take months. All that matters is that you're consistent, and once you start to understand the patterns in your sleeping, you figure out what works for you, you will incrementally get better. You can use any of these tips in combination. For example, you can do reality checks and a few times a month, maybe set your alarm in the middle of the night. You can try to be in that meditative state before you go to sleep every night of imagining things. Just have fun with it. Again, I think the most important thing that you should do is log your dreams. But other than that, it's fair game. Whatever is working for you, whatever you enjoy doing, fits with your lifestyle. If you've had any lucid dream experiences that you want to share, please write in the comments below. And yeah, if you want any more of this type of content, please subscribe to my channel, like this video. I'm always open to suggestions of topics to cover or little self-experiments to try. So yeah, thank you for watching and good luck on your sleep journeys.